Hi everyone! Today I felt like doing something a little bit floral, so I thought I would have a go at this hibiscus flower. This is from Rita Berman's Die Welt Unter der Lupe Lande, and obviously you can see there's a page with all sorts of different bits and pieces on it, but I thought we would have a go at this one. I may or may not do the leaves. We'll just see how the time goes really on this one. My aim is to just sort of start with the flower. The light is a little bit odd in here today, but it's a bit yellowy, but I think we're okay. Now I'm using my Derwent Lightfast pencils. I've had a little look at a few pictures of hibiscus flowers, but I'm just gonna do it my own way really. I've decided to do it slightly orangey. That's how I think I want to play it really. I'm actually going to start with a red. I'm going to start with a Scarlet and do a little bit in the middle of the flower. Now I've got my son here with me today and I'm hoping he's going to be quiet. He's usually quite quiet, this particular son, but he is watching some videos while he's supposed to be studying. I'm hinting loudly, hoping that he'll hear me and get on with his work. And so we might hear him giggling, which will be fun. So I put a little bit of red just in the centre there, partly because some hibiscuses do have a red middle, but also just to make it look a little bit deeper down there, because I think this bit's going to be lower than this. So that's my idea. And I've now grabbed the flame, which is the orange, and we're going to just go over all of that with the orange and then take it out towards the edge. As you can see, I am slightly fading it as I go towards the edge of the petal, and we're going to do a different colour right on the edge. We're just going to do them all the same, so it'll be quite a lot of the same thing over and over, but hopefully that'll be okay. Now these Stamen, I haven't thought about yet, so I'll be doing those in a bit. I'm deciding what to do with those. They're usually best to do them a little bit lighter so that you can, they look like they're above the petals, because then this looks more like it's shady, but I might not do that. I'll have a think about it. So I think the centres are usually darker. So anyway, we'll see. Now this set of Derwent Lightfast, there's only one orange, and so a little bit limited, but there are orangey browns. So this is the only orange in the sort of red, orange, yellow type section of pencils. You might be familiar with how they tend to lay out pencils in tins. And then they tend to sometimes have orangey browns. There are quite a few of those. We have a sort of burnt sienna and a Persian orange and a Mars orange. So, but they're obviously sort of browny oranges. And I really wanted this to be quite a vibrant picture, although we may need some shadows and things later. Okay, I'm just fiddling a little bit. Here, we've got all these stamens, but this one doesn't sort of continue all the way up, but I'm going to make that part of it, so I'm sort of making, I'm not colouring over that bit. I hope you can see that. Okay, so I'm going to grab this sort of orangey yellow. I'm giving my son a hard stare because he's watching a video and not doing his chemistry. He's smiling at me. And I'm going to do this amber gold, which is sort of orangey yellow, to just finish off the petals. I'm not going to start right in that centre, I want that quite dark. But I'm going to go to the edge. Now this isn't going to be my last layer of colour, but it's just going to sort of fill in the colour on these petals so I can see where I'm at really. There's a lot of big loud bangs coming from outside. They're laying some new broadband out up on the main road, and it's really noisy. I think they're going to be quite some time as well, from the slow rate that the roadworks have been going through the town. They're working all the way through. It'll be nice to have some faster broadband, but my husband reckons we're going to have to pay for the cables to be taken from the main road to our house, so we may not do that. Our broadband is pretty good, I always think. It goes down occasionally, but obviously having a faster cable isn't going to prevent that. We'll see. I'll see what he decides about it. Or he tends to watch films and things and download a lot of stuff. Now, I suppose I do upload videos to YouTube a lot, but I just let that run in the background while I'm doing other things, like recording other videos or editing and things like that, so I don't really notice. Okay, we're nearly done now with this little bit. And as I say, that isn't going to be the sort of final part. Oops, I'm just going to put the pencils I've used to one side so I can put a list in the description for you. So I've just done that quickly. We'll go back to that later, but we're going to do the stamen next. Now I'm thinking we want them to be quite a vibrant red. And obviously we've got quite a bit of red going on here already, so we need to make sure they stand out. So I'm just having a look at the reds that I have. I have a sort of cherry. I think that's not going to quite work. But the Derwent Red, they sort of have their own red. Derwent Red is quite a nice mid-dark red. And I'm going to do them all in this. I'm not pressing too hard yet because I'm going to add a few other colours to it as well. But I just want to see how it sits, if that makes sense. Oh, I sharpened all of these before I started recording, and I'm giving my son a hard stare again because he's got distracted from his work. He's going to regret being home. He's decided to stay at home today and study, and normally he studies at college in the library, and I think when he's in the library he has a bit more freedom to study at the pace he wants to, but now he's here with me, he's going to get stared at. And but it might mean he finishes quicker. Or he might decide he's going to go to college next week and not be stared at. Right, so that's sort of rough start. Now the stamen I'm going to work on now and sort of finish those first and then move on to the finishing off the rest of the flower. So what I want to do is outline them a little bit with something. I'm just looking to see what I've got to make them stand out. And I'm going to use something fairly dark. I'm just looking at all my colour options I've got here. I think I'm going to use the sepia because this is a sort of red sepia. As you can see, it says red. And I think this will work well. It's not very sharp, but we'll try it because it's got quite a flat end, so that might work for us. And the idea is just to go around the edge of everything just to give it a slightly more three-dimensional look, because these are round seeds, not flat, and also just to make it all stand out. There we go. Oh, I'm shadowing quite a lot there. Here we go. Try it that way. And now I'm missing. Hang on. Let's go under there. That's better. So the idea is to go along the line and then around here. So don't worry, we'll go back in with the red afterwards and sort of blend it in a bit. So it might look a little bit harsh at the minute, but that is the idea. Around the edge there. And here. Oh, we haven't done those two, have we? Sorry, the shadows aren't good. It's because it's early, it's not very light. I've got a lot of natural light, got a couple of lights on in the room, and I think that impacts us a little bit. Ooh. So I'm going to now take my Derwent Red again, oops, and go back to each one and just blend that in a little. I still want to leave it a little bit paler in the middle. Right, so we won't get the full impact of that three-dimensional look that I'm after. I'm sort of going over what I did before a little bit and just bringing that colour in just a little bit. And hopefully you can see. Now if you have hibiscus in your garden, You might want to colour this one of those colours that are usually really bright and pretty and colourful, and I'm hoping that this will look like that soon. Okay, so now I'm going to do the central part again. Remember I did some red right in the middle. I'm not going to stick with red, I'm going to do a darker orange now instead of the red. And I'm going to grab this, oh no, I grabbed the wrong one. This Persian Orange, which is almost a sort of browny colour. Whoops, just hit my camera cable, and I'm going to get in there with some darker strokes of colour. So I'm basically going all around the central area, darkening up that area with some more colour. I thought this might be a little bit darker than it is, but once I finish going around I shall have a look and see how it is. Let's see. Yeah, I think I need a little bit darker. I'm just going to brush. I've got quite a few bits of pencil. Page, there we go. I think I want quite a dark brown in that very central part. And I'm having a look actually at chocolate. It's really quite a dark colour. I just really want it to look quite dark down there, because we're putting it on top of these lighter colours and layering it up. It's not going to look really, really dark, but it's just going to give a more shadowy look to it all. Can't see what I'm doing. There we go. And what I also want to do with this chocolate is to go along the edges of the petals. Maybe a little bit of shadow where they're overlapping. I'm just going to mark that in. Now, and I'm also thinking about shadow from these sort of stamen. Maybe a little bit. And the seed pods, more down at the bottom. There might be a bit here. Thinking about where the light is. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to go back in with our what do we use? We had Persian Orange, we've done that. I think we'll go back in with the flame and brighten it all up a little bit. So here is our flame that we used a long time ago, now it feels like. I'm going to overlap that sort of dark chocolatey colour, just bring that orange back up to be able to be seen. Now on this page there is another one of these. There's actually a couple on this page, and then there's some on the facing page. Actually, I think the facing page is just a reverse of this page, so it looks nearly the same, but I'm not going to do them all the same. I'm going to do, sorry, that was very shadowy there. I'm going to do different colours for different ones. I think it'll be more fun. I think it'll also look more bright and cheery as well, which is always nice. So we're bringing that orange colour towards the edge of the petals, and we're going to finish off the petals with the amber gold again like we did before, and we're going to make it look a lot more vibrant. So starting here where we sort of almost finished the orange, I'm really gonna layer it down. Now with these Derwents, they do work very well with the Derwent blending pencil if you've got one. So if you find that it's not layering really nicely, you know, you can see white paper through or something like that, you're just not quite happy with how it's blending, they are really good. It's a really good pencil. It really smushes everything together. Sometimes I find certain brands and certain blenders don't always work that well, but I mean, obviously the Derwent blender was designed for Derwent branded pencils, and it just works remarkably well, which probably shouldn't be surprising, but it's good. It's worth knowing, I think. Now we have got these lines. We're not going to ignore those. You can actually see how the yellow is blending the orange. It's actually mixing together with it, which is nice. So we're just taking that yellow all the way to the edge. Just coming around the other way to do the other one. I think that's probably a bit better for you. It's not always easy to tell exactly what you can see. Now, hibiscus sometimes have little yellow seeds, and we're going to put some of those on in a bit. Haven't quite finished yet though. So there's that. What I want to do is I want to grab the Scarlet and just do a few lines through the flower like this. I'm just following the ones that are drawn on and going towards the middle, because the hibiscus flower does have a few lines sometimes if you look at photos, which I did before I started this. Now you can add some more in if you think some areas look a little bit odd and empty of lines, like here. I'll take them up from the centre rather than out from the edge. There we go. I just didn't do that central bit very well, did I? Now these bits here are black, and I think they should be red. I'm quite tempted to use my red Posca pen, but I think it's the wrong shade, so I'm just going to go over them with my red pencil. I don't think it's really going to look that red. That's not really going to show up. Okay, but what I am going to do is get my yellow Posca pen, which is here. Let me just show you. It is the Posca, it's just called yellow, and it's the PC1MR size, which is, let me show you the nib. Whoops, it's just the fine nib. It's quite a dirty nib, but what I'm going to do is go over all the dots that Rita has drawn on here, and then I'll probably add a few more. I'm thinking of adding some on these. I think that might be where there might be some pollen. And then maybe up here. Let's have a look. It sort of fades that quite a bit, doesn't it? Let's put just put a few random dots around as well. There we go. Okay. Now leaf-wise, we have a leaf here and we have a leaf coming out of here. Now I will probably do both the same colour. Now I didn't look up hibiscus leaves. I can have a little quick look because I've still got them. They seem to be quite a varied colour depending on the colour of the flower. That one I've looked at is very eaten. Looks like it's been a lot of caterpillars. So I don't know if it's that matters that much. Now with the Derwent, the green's quite browny in colour. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm probably just going to do my favourite combination. I'm only going to show you a little bit because I don't need to show you every leaf. I think I will do them the same. So I'll probably just use my olive earth pencil first to do some darker areas. This needs sharpening, but I'm just going to use it anyway rather than stopping to sharpen. My sharpener's really noisy. So I'm going to do a bit dark there and a bit up here. Can you see that end? Yes. And then I'll do a bit at the end of each leaf. I'll just show you on this one. So here and then fading, yeah. And then the same on here, so there and then fading. So the idea is it's darker each end. I'll do the same on every leaf. And then grab my favourite, which is the Foliage colour. And again, it probably could do with a sharpen. And I'm going to go over the top of the olive green. And then still fade slightly towards the centre of this stalk or stem. Like that. So it's a bit darker here. A few more layers compared with there. And so we're going to do the same with the leaves, going over the top of that olive earth, and then a nice thick layer there, and then fading towards the centre of the leaf. And the same here, so darker at this tip. Thick layer here, and then fading towards the centre. And that, I'm just going to finish it off with a little bit of yellow. I'm just looking at what colours I've got. This is probably the best one. Again, it needs sharpening because I didn't plan this bit. A banana colour, and it's quite a sort of greeny yellow, as you can see. And I'm only going to go over that bit, and I think it just gives it a nice vibrancy. There we go. Now what you could do with the stalk, I can't do it because my pencil's too blunt, is just to go along each edge in the darker green, just to make it look slightly more three-dimensional, so it doesn't look flat, it looks a bit more rounded. You could have a go at that, but I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to finish it off. I might photograph it later with the rest of the leaves done, but I'm just going to zoom out there so you can just see it so far. So there it is. I'm going to finish there, so thank you very much for watching. Excuse me, I hope that was okay. So it's just a tickle, it's nothing nasty. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for watching and happy colouring.